Oh. Got one more weld to do right here. I figured I'd do a video that's not sped up so we can kind of see just how slow this process is. That sight doesn't get old, I'll tell you what. Let's see here. There we go. Let me cool down here. Just welded this guy here and this guy here. These were two pieces. Now we're gonna weld this one. I have to take a break in there, no, but give it a few to purge out. It doesn't take long for this small of a piece about the titanium. I can't really say about it. So it's a good idea to keep your vent up on the top while you're initially doing the purge, and move it around as well. If there is any trapped atmosphere in there, you can kind of shake it up and purge it out. So it's the idea anyways. Not a scientist or engineer or whatever. Just from learning from other people and from experience. That's what makes the most sense in my head. That's what most people say anyways. So it should be good, especially since I already had it purged out a few minutes ago. So yeah, air will get back in there, but it won't be completely filled with atmosphere. It wasn't initially. I like to go vertical up as much as possible so the gas kind of fall down the tube onto the weld. It helps keep from like those golden halos appearing and stuff like that. Kind of makes your cup act a little bit bigger than it is. Going about 10 dabs at a time. In these real small areas, I'll do anywhere from 7 to 10. And I do let my pulse flow time out on the small areas as well, just because it's going to get hot. Can't rush this stuff, it shows. Anytime you skip a step or try and cut a corner, it doesn't seem to matter what you do. It seems like titanium will reveal that you missed something or skipped something. I tried welding pie cuts that were pre-packaged, very clean, but they weren't quite as clean as I like. And titanium, no matter what, even if you have a pure argon environment, it will oxidize over time. Keeping it in a sealed package does help, but eventually it will oxidize. There was some type of study done. I can't remember if it was a TIMET or NASA. I can't remember what the spec was or the paper I was reading. But they were saying that there's a certain time period where basically if you don't have it, if you have it out in the open, after you've cleaned off the oxide layer, cleaned off with acetone or alcohol, whatever you use it, you can only let it sit for say like 2 hours, maybe that, before you have to clean it again. And when you put it in like a sealed container, but it has atmosphere in it, it's like 24 hours maybe, or like 12. But if you have it in a pure argon environment, I want to say it was like 48 to 72 hours. Not totally sure, but I tried it out anyways, and the results weren't quite up to my standards, so I got to cleaning just like I would any other piece, which is fine. Just trying to save time somewhere if possible. Am I rambling on? I'll let this cool down. So. I don't have another weld to bounce back and forth between, and so it makes this get real hot, and then you start to see the bead quality dwindle a little bit when your restarts, especially. There's a little bit of a halo here, but it still looks good. Now that I'm at the top of the tube, I'm going to turn it so that I'm running uphill again. Positioning these things can be difficult sometimes, but get better at it. I have all kinds of different little blocks and shims and stuff to help. This thing here turned out to be very, very handy for hand rest, and I have some heat sinks that like I sit on top of here and just kind of spin it around. I didn't expect it to be that handy, but it was. Put the Kevlar glove down to help keep the material clean, because I still have to weld some bungs on here later. I also got to clean the bear with oils and stuff like that. These Kevlar gloves are awesome. After you've done your final wipe of your degreaser or whatever with acetone, alcohol, whatever, only want to touch it with like cotton or Kevlar gloves, because otherwise you will get some type of grease on it, and that shit is annoying. Every little bit of contamination shows up on the surface of this after you've welded it. You can see there's a skosh of something right there. I don't know if it was from this glove being too close or what, but that's all it takes. Something off-gassing right next to your weld, and it mixes in with the weld shielding gas. Do one more here. I'm gonna do 8 dabs on that one. Getting around to halfway around this thing, it starts to get warm. Still keeping it pretty silver though, so I'm happy. Got a new regulator, dual flow regulator. I know mine had a leak. It's had a leak for a while. Careful, but hasn't seemed to be an issue. Aside from at night, after closing all the valves, didn't matter if I closed them all or not, it still wouldn't hold pressure. And it wasn't at the tank connection, it was somewhere in the actual regulator. So, you know, anytime you have a leak like that, it's going to be pulling in something, regardless of the size. So, got a new one. It's weird, it's not very, it's kind of cheap, but the, what do you call them, the flow meter itself is wildly off by like 20 CFH. So I've gotten this guy, which is an actual flow meter for the end of your torch. Just the pulse flow going and seal it. See him run about 35. Honestly, I usually run around 40 when I'm doing titanium. Might bump it up just a skosh. Pretty much because I am doing this one bead here continuously and not bouncing back between anything. But it seems, I feel like it's giving me a slightly better quality weld. Here we are, 40. Just read to the top of the ball unless your flow meter says otherwise. It doesn't necessarily matter exactly what it is as long as it's working and you know how to read the signal pump. Okay, I'm a little bit over. Are they trying to do like a not trying to blow it down here. It's not the idea. You want to be comfortable as you can be with this shit. Never always be comfortable, but you know. Do your best. That's why I have all these skins. This guy, I have all kinds of stuff to rest my arm and hands on the piece, but not contaminated. Also, be careful to stick your wires. Sometimes they create an improving gas after it goes well. Real easy to forget that, especially when you're talking to a camera. Time goes slow. Thing to think about is when you are welding, having your hand resting on something isn't always the best if you're trying to move around or along a long stringer. You have that much movement in your abdomen part. If you're pivoting from one point, having your elbow or arm rest against something usually works better because you can move your wrist around more and keep your torch, either flat or move it around the pipe or whatever. Seems counterintuitive, but like, oh, I want to be super steady, but then you end up getting this skip going on, trying to move your hand along the piece. You have this long stringer. You end up with an inconsistent weld because of it. Wonder why. There's ways around that. If you have a just like the only way you can do it. Things like TIG fingers that are glide along the material better. Honestly, just Kevlar gloves. They glide pretty well too. That can be really annoying. Sometimes. Not even more. All welders and fabricators know this, but there's ways you can speed up this process. You can get a turntable or a rotary table, whatever you want to call it, and it spins the part for you. With titanium, you need to have either a really, really big cup. This is already a big cup, it's like a 19. But like 20 plus can get you some silver weld on that, but it's especially on bigger diameters like 4 or 5, 6 inch. You don't need as big of a cup because your gas hangs around a little bit longer. But you get a trailing shield and you get your gas and your speeds dialed in for the size of tube or pipe you're working on. And you can get some real good shit that way. I haven't gotten one myself yet, but I'm planning on getting one from Welding out of Australia. It's kind of wild sounding coming from Australia, but the price is really good and it's got cool little features that you can just kind of, if you need to back up or whatever, you can spin it with your hand. I think it's like a belt driven, so it just has like a slip to it if you want it to. I'm not doing anything huge, so I don't need, 1,200 pounds of capacity or something. We're almost around this 3-inch pie cut. Almost. See how long it took me. I'm guessing about 15 minutes. Maybe 8 on that one right there. Once you start getting into these real small process height there's not a whole lot of material there, so heat builds up real quick. So watch your termination on the last gap. Make sure under the pinhole. Titanium loves to have a pinhole right there in the center if you just cut the arc. When I'm, I don't do that every single time because on my restart, I heat it up and then it basically heats that entire, makes it open again and gets rid of that pinhole. You gotta be careful, make sure that you heat it up enough though, because you can really easily not heat it up enough and you sell a pinhole. That just comes with experience, knowing, how much you need to give it, what it looks like. And here we are, 20 minutes. All right, hell yeah. That's it. Nothing's perfect, but came out nice and silver. This stuff is so hard to get your camera to focus on. When it's in this state, if you color it or whatever, then it gets easier, but it's just so reflective. The beads are so shiny. It's like, it just doesn't want to focus. So, yep, that was one weld. Probably took an extra couple minutes because I stopped and talked, but a lot of times, and probably not, because I still would have had to stop and let it cool down. That's basically what I was doing. I just wasn't doing usually I'll weld halfway around or maybe 2/3 or a third and then let it cool down. This time I just talked and let it cool down a few times, so turned out pretty good.